Welcome back to Team Building Tips with Dan Talbot on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with Dan, but first let's hear from our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. You know, they're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They've got a variety of interactive touchscreen consoles and an entire library of templates to help recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. Let them help you showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments by going to vitalsignswalloffame.com or call them at 614-981-3589. And you can email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. Bring your school's legacy to life. We also want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. You can find out more about what Hometown Ticketing can do for you and your school by going to hometownticketing.com and talk to their experts. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. We also want to thank our newest sponsor, Gipper. Gipper allows you to create custom graphics and branding materials for your school to give it that Division I or pro level look. Gipper's going to be sharing a new ad with us, but we wanted to say thank you right now to our newest sponsor, Gipper. Go to gipper.com for more information. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. Over 200,000 teams use Huddle to help their teams play better using video and analytics. Huddle's the complete performance platform. They have online tools, smart cameras like the Huddle Focus. There's always been analytics, but there's so much more. Huddle's also built for every level of play, from club and youth teams all the way through high schools and colleges, and even the pros use Huddle to help their teams perform at the highest level. You're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes. If you want to find out more about what Huddle can do for you and your program and how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. We also want to say thanks to Final Forms, the industry leader in registration. But Final Forms is more than just forms. Final Forms is a team, it's technology, and they provide schools with compliance, communication, and risk management solutions. Final Forms can help your stakeholders with things like mobile accessibility, and it has reminders for parents about policies, about physicals, and all the forms that go along with being an athlete. Final Forms also can help with team communication, attendance, and even certification management for coaches. And for athletic directors, Final Forms can help with eligibility, with rosters, and all the forms that come across your desk. Plus, it does this with secure language translation and ADA compliance. To take the next steps and find out what Final Forms can do for you, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake to get started. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack also connects you to the 95% of the parents and the student athletes that really love your program. And it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466 or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to connect with your athletes or your parents, you're really missing out. Talk to the folks at Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack and let them show you how to take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive for their support. Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every single year, while also creating the ultimate game day experience for your athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 to see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com for more information. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com, and see exactly what their fantastic products can do for you. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Team Building Tips with Dan Talbot. Dan is a certified master athletic administrator, and he's the director of athletics for Polk County Schools in Florida. Very active at the state and the national level, but he's spending some time with us today. Dan, what do you have for episode 5 of Team Building Tips?
So this kind of ties into our previous episode on episode 4, but going back to, software in your athletic department and choosing the right one. And, we got a big issue down here in the Southeast with lightning and heat illness. And so we have some state mandates that we have to follow with our, in Florida, where we have to have cooling zones and all these different things when the weather hits a certain temperature. And one of the things we have to contend with in Florida, since we're the lightning capital of the world, is lightning. And it is a major factor on our athletic events in the spring and in the fall weather and over the summer. The storms roll in. It could be 95 degrees in the summer, and then about 4 o'clock it's completely dark outside. We're getting hit with lightning and rain, and then an hour later the sun's back out and it's humid and it's hot. And we appreciate all the visitors coming down to Florida, but hey, July and August are pretty tough months. Come down in February, but a lot of people are moving here for various reasons. But one of the softwares that we use that kind of controls all that is a company called DTN and Weather Century. It's been absolutely phenomenal for us. Because I know in my county, on any given Friday night or anytime when we're playing soccer or football or baseball, it's like anything else. You have better coaches sitting in the stands. You have better officials sitting in the stands at any given time at athletic events, but you also have the most seasoned meteorologists in the stands as well. That, the biggest phrase in Florida, that's heat lightning, which is pretty interesting. So one of the companies that we use to assist our athletic directors in making decisions on athletic events is DTN and Weather Century. It's a computer-based program. They have apps. So basically every one of our schools has a desktop version where that's kind of the hub. And then our administrators have an app to basically assist them in making the right calls. The thing we love about them the most is you can send unlimited text messages to people. Every coach in our system will get a text message when lightning is within 30 miles of the facility, when lightning is within 15 miles of the facility, and then when lightning is within 8 miles. And you can personalize each one of those texts. So in Polk County, the 30-mile one said, hey, lightning's in the area. The 15-mile one, lightning's getting closer. And then when it hits 8 mile, please evacuate, seek shelter immediately. And then the nice thing is it takes those meteorologists out of it, because you'll get another text message basically saying it's all clear and it's safe to go back outside. And the one thing that same software company does for us is it monitors the wet bulb globe temperature in Florida. So we have state requirements in Florida to where if temperatures hit a certain degree, and I'm not talking about Fahrenheit temperature or anything like that, it's an ambient temperature that takes the wind, the sun, all different kind of variables, and gives you a temperature. And it's 100% for the safety of athletes, which we are glad it's here. We're excited about it. Obviously, student athlete safety is our number one priority. And so to have something that basically tells you the ambient temperature at that moment in time, you can get projections of when the wet bulb globe, because like in Florida, it changes. So I could pull up the exact temperatures, but I know in Florida, if it's over 92.1 degrees, there's no outdoor activities. You can go in the weight room, you can go in the gym. when it's over a certain degree, you have to have your cooling tents, your cooling zones, your cold water tubs ready to be available for student athletes. If the temperature's up, you gotta modify practice to 2 hours, mandatory water breaks within each hour of practice. There's some practices where you can be outside, but you can't wear equipment. And so as an athletic director, you need to communicate and relay all that information to your outdoor sports, your cross country players, your football team, your baseball teams outside in the springtime when it starts to warm back up. So they need to know all this. So trying to figure out, because when you tell an athletic director, especially the new ones, that you're responsible for all this, and then you also got to put lightning in there, that you got to monitor lightning. And the nice thing about the lightning, well, there's really nothing nice about it, kind of a poor choice of words, but I was never worried about lightning at a game because I was there. And so I was going to make the decision whether we vacated the field or not, or the game got put on hold or not. But who's doing that when you're at home with your family on a Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock and your coaches are out practicing? Who's monitoring your coaches? And that's the one thing that software provides, is you can put every single coach that you have outdoor, put them into the system, and they will get a text message alert to vacate the field. They'll get a text message alert when to come back on the field. And it's not just a head coach, it's every single coaching staff. Because one of the big issues a lot of schools have is a lot of assistant coaches like, well, I'm not the head coach. Well, you still have a duty and a right to protect the student athletes. And anyone that holds a teaching certificate in the state of Florida is going to get that text message, because they are required to ensure the safety of our student athletes as part of their teaching certificate. So, but we want to give so when I tell the athletic director, we have all the software you need, and we train them on it, we give them that information, and then we get it out to them, and then it really helps. One thing that has taken off in our district is I was at a wedding 2 weeks ago, and one of the schools basically had a lightning storm right over the school, and they were calling me on when to move the kids for class dismissal. And so now we're making a big push in our district, because not only are we using it for athletics, but it's also coming into play because, and this maybe doesn't pertain to people in the north, but schools in Florida, which is a nightmare. They're like mini college campuses. Kids are outside moving from building to building. They're not just one big building where everyone's inside. Florida schools are basically like mini college campuses where they're walking outside a majority of the time. So lightning and weather comes into a fact but not also does it do wet bulb globe temperature or lightning. It monitors wind. Like I live on a lake in Florida. It tells me when it's going to rain at my house. So if I'm out on my boat, I know because I have it monitoring everywhere I go. One of the great benefits of the app that saves time with us, and this is huge, because think about how much money you spend in a rain delay or a lightning delay, and because everybody wants to wait it out. It's funny because most administrators are like, okay, it's raining, it's lightning, let's go, let's pack it up. But you want to stay as long as you can, because those student athletes, whether it's football, volleyball, basketball, anything outdoors, those kids have worked so hard that the game is it's what they're looking forward to. So at all costs, you want to wait it out as long as you can. Well, you also have busing. The longer that bus is there, the more expensive it's going to cost. And then you're also participating in activities on a school night. So the one thing that app offers us is a consultation. So we can go onto the app and basically ask a certified meteorologist, hey, I'm at Winter Haven High School in Winter Haven, Florida. We're currently in a rainstorm. How long is it projected to last? And in about 10 minutes, you're going to get a response back from a meteorologist that's going to look at the weather and tell you it's going to be there for the next 3 hours. So you have that opportunity within 15 minutes to make a decision to send everyone home or wait it out. And so, again, it just ties back to getting the right software that best fits your program to make your life easier. Because trust me, we got some old school coaches that don't leave practice in lightning until the birds aren't hanging out on the power lines. So we've been down that road before. But again, it's just finding little tools and software that help your athletic directors, help your coaches be successful and not have to worry about it. And it's nice to be out there as a coach going, because I remember in college, my college football coach had a pacemaker. So we were always saying there's lightning around even on blue skies just to get out of practice. But it's nice to be able to coach and not have to worry about that. You can set it up with your athletic trainer so that way the coaches can coach. And if it does become an unsafe condition, someone's going to be notified, and then you can take the proper precautions from there and not have to worry about which way the wind's blowing in certain situations. But it's just finding, it goes back to what I said in the last episode. If you didn't watch that one, it goes back to doing what's important and spending time in front of your coaches and in front of your kids and with your parents and directing athletics instead of managing athletics is one of our most important features that we need to do. And again, DTN, Weather Century X, provides that for us in a huge way. We've been with them for 5 years now, and they've been great. And love the fact that I can just go on an app. And it's for me as a district administrator, I can be at one game and pull up the app and I'll know if a school, 30 miles away, because believe it or not, we have 17 public high schools in Polk County, but the size of our county is the size of Rhode Island. So it takes me an hour and a half to get from one school or another. So I can't be at multiple games on Friday night due to the size of our county, but I can log on to the app and know that, okay, everything's fine here, but one school, they should not be on the field, and be able to make that phone call to athletic director and say, hey, are you in a lightning delay? And they know when I call and make that call that they probably should check their app because I am. And so, but it just goes back to the safety of our student athletes, which is paramount above all in anything. So.
Quick question for you from a management perspective. You and I have been in Florida for a long time, coach football and AD, but I was at, one private school and just had to manage, pretty much one campus, one set of teams, et cetera. From a lightning perspective, I think we want to say, that's maybe easier to handle. People can see the lightning, or now you have your lightning detector. But for the temperature extremes and the policies that our schools have to follow, who do you have at your school that makes that decision kind of on the spot? For me, I empowered, and our coaches all knew this, our athletic trainer. We had a head trainer who was out there at the football practices, lacrosse practices, et cetera, fall was football. She was the one that, said, hey, need to stop practice. We need to go inside. How do you do that from a county perspective with your schools? Who makes that decision for the temperature extremes?
That's going to be the athletic director. Mm-hmm. The athletic director of your school is going to make that call, but they also have people assisting them in monitoring the temperature and doing those different things. But you know how coaches are. If someone else is telling them, like the athletic trainer, we want it to come from the athletic director. We want communication specifically come from the athletic director, but the athletic director is not probably sitting at practice monitoring the temperature, but the actual call is going to come from the athletic director to, hey, you got to go inside or wait it out. And, and we also have wet bulb globe thermometers to where we want to double check, because anytime that, if you're going to pull kids off the field, you want to be 100% accurate. But the athletic director in our county is going to make that call.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It only happened one time that my trainer called me and said, hey, can you come down to the field? And it happened once. It never happened again. So
yeah, because coaches, I get it. I've coached too, and you want to it's every game's important.
One more play.
Yep.
Okay.
One more play.
Dan, always great stuff. If one of our listeners wants to reach out, find out more about this system, and again, how you guys do things at Polk County, what's the best way they can get in touch with you? Best
way to get a hold of me is through my cell phone. That number is 863-661-0647. Again, 863-661-0647. Call or text anytime, and be glad to help you any way I can. Dan, as always, thanks for sharing, and all the best as you get into those dog days of summer that we're getting into now. They're here. The spring football started. The temperature has risen. So we're done with spring football now, but it's funny how every spring football year, it's like it's been perfect Florida weather through March and April, and it seems like that first official day of spring football, it like literally went to like 95 degrees, and it never
Flip that
failed.
switch and the humidity shows up. Yeah.
Correct. So
For our listeners, we do this every week, team building tips with Dan Talbot. Remember, the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews get uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Come back next week for more wisdom from Dan Talbot and just about every day on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next week. Once again, we want to thank all of our sponsors. Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. They're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. Check out their touchscreen video consoles and templates at vitalsignswalloffame.com, or you can call them at 614-981-3589. Also want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Collect some data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire program. Go to athleticsurveys.com or call them at 800-738-6466. Let Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack help you take your athletic program from good to great. Also want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com for more information and talk to their experts. Simple and easy online ticketing. Also want to thank Huddle. At Huddle, we power sports. They've got smart cameras. They have mobile apps. They've got analytics, but they can also help your coaches coach your kids better. Go to huddle.com for more information. We also want to say thanks to Final Forms, the industry leader in forms and registration. Let Final Forms help you with team communication, with attendance, certification management, eligibility rosters, and all the things that come across an AD's desk. Go to finalforms.com/Jake for more information. Also want to say thanks to Gipper. Gipper helps you create branded graphics and content for your school. Make your school's displays look like a D1 program. It's Gipper.com for more information. And we want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive. Their indoor scoring tables and video boards can not only generate funds, but also create the ultimate game day experience. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call them at 832-786-0302 to schedule a live demo. That's sidelineinteractive.com. As always, we appreciate you tuning in to Team Building Tips with Dan Talbot and the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next week.